Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheswaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tvameva Madha cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshwari Ma Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshwari Ma Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshwari Ma Om Amriteshwari Namah. We'll begin with the short meditation. Kindly make sure your vertebral column is straight. Slowly close your eyes. Try to bring your awareness on your breathing. Breathing normally, but fully focused on your each and every inhalation and exhalation that occurs through your body. As you become more and more aware of each and every breath, also feel the relaxation. And feel completely relaxed now. We'll now chant Om 3 times. As we chant Om, feel the sound and the vibrations of Om coming from deep within you, from the navel area, rising upwards along your spine, cleansing your body, your mind, the atmosphere around you. Now kindly take a deep breath. Feel the reverberations of Om in each and every part of your body. Once again, bring your awareness on your breathing. And now, as you breathe in, chant the mantra, the syllable Ma, silently along with your in-breath. And Om when you breathe out. Ma is a representation of divine love. Om of divine light. And as you chant, feel the love and light in your heart, and you don't have to visualize it. Just feel the vibrations of love and light filling your heart. And continue for some time. Slowly and slowly the reverberations of Ma and Om become more and more subtle. Just feel the vibrations of Ma and Om within. Feel the love, the light in your heart. Imagine your heart expanding as the love and light fills your heart. Imagine your heart flowering just like a small bud would open up and turn into a beautiful and fragrant flower. Similarly, visualize your heart opening up, filling you with peace, with love, with light, and with bliss. Now imagine a ray of light going out from your heart to all the beings in this world, just like the rays of the sun. And as the light falls on each and every being, imagine they also become more loving, more peaceful, more joyful, and more content and blissful. And while imagining so, we'll chant the Loka Samasta prayer 9 times. Om Loka Samstaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samastaha 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 Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Dhyayamo Dhavlavagundhanavatim Tejomayim Nashtikim Snigdha Pangavilokinim Bhagavadim Mandasmidashrimukhim Valsalyamritavarshinim Sumadhuram Sankirtanalapinim Shamangim Madhusikta Suktim Amritanandatmikam Ishwarim Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Parambaram Sruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Garunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loga Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Bhadarayanam Sutrabhashya Krita Vande Bhagavanda Punapunaha Ishvara Guru Ragmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagini Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om Amriteshwaryaye Namaha. In the last session, we were looking at bhakti as devotion, and bhakti, it's considered the lower type of devotion, and the higher one which we were talking about was priti. Priti means dedicating oneself and completely immersing oneself in the service of the Lord, of your beloved Lord. And we were looking at the pure type of devotion based on priti, that is joy of personal services. It has that we have a personal relationship with our divine, that is saying that he is mine or she is mine, and ultimately to the fact that I and she, or I and he, are one. And we said that the Shanta Bhakti is because the Bhakti, Shanta Bhakti, means considered to be the expression of devotion. It is said that the priti, the difference between priti and Shanta Bhakti is that priti becomes expressed only when the mineness, that she is mine or he is mine, comes. And as we know, we were also saying that the priti, that is oneness, it is loving service. It also rejects the sayujya, which is the merger in the Lord, as a stumbling block to the spiritual evolution. And that's why it is considered to be the fifth purushartha, other than the highest goal of life, other than artha, dharma, kama, and moksha. So the fifth purushartha is priti, or so the highest form of love. And I was saying, Lord Krishna himself was saying that the holy men who have deep-rooted love for me and see me in everything, win me over like a faithful wife does to a dutiful husband. And having attained to life's fulfillment of my service, they do not even care for 4 forms of mukti, which is liberation. The 4 forms are, first one is the sarshti mukti, which is the desire to attain the majesty of Mahavishnu. And Samipya Mukti means the desire to attain unceasing association with the Lord. And Salokya Mukti, which is desire to live in the abode of the Lord. And Sarupya Mukti, to attain the beauty of the Lord, just like the gatekeepers of Lord Vishnu, which were Jaya and Vijaya. And in pursuance of he was saying that that's why, it was said that the four Purusharthas and Bhakti, which is the nature of Preeti, is the fifth one, which is the eternal service of the Lord with, unflagging love for Him as one soul. And as also we were saying that, when the Kevala Advaita, that is Advaitins, will not agree with this, because they say, Bhakti is just a subsidiary place, means it's only for the purification of the mind, and making it for you to become a Jnana Nishta, means one who is established in knowledge. And Bhakti is preparatory discipline, and which is not equated with the highest levels like this. And so Bhakti always implies, because they say the Bhakti always implies distinctions without a difference. And so there is a Bheda Abheda Buddhi, that is my and mine. So there is that difference. So that's why in Kevala Advaita they do not recognize Bhakti or the highest, that is Preeti. And as we're saying that what happens is, I was also explaining that when Preeti actually when crosses even realization, and a realized saint expresses that kind of devotion, is what is really known as Preeti. As I was saying the example of Amma, and when Amma realized, what did she hear? She wanted to know what is the purpose of her life. And then Amma, in her song, she says that the Divine Mother said, now dedicate your life for the service and upliftment of others. So that is what she heard. And in the same sense, Lord Sri Ramakrishna says that everything happens by my mother's will, and so the ego is now completely gone, and the ego, what they express, is not an ordinary ego, but as I explained, it is the ego which looks like the burnt rope, and it has a form, but the moment you touch it, it is gone. And so we're saying that the regenerated ego sees the absolute as manifesting as the triad, which is the Ishvara, that is God, Jiva, and the individual spirit, and Jagat, which is the universe. And the ego of knowledge being illumined, as stated before, by the intuition of the unity of existence, as its sustenance in the sense of intimate kinship with the divine person, that is the Ishvara, the creator, preserver, destroyer, and redeemer. And the highest type of loving relationship, or prema bhakti, which Bhagavata conceives in the wake of the feeling that the Lord is one's own, and the intimate relationships like the parental, the comradely, or the conjugal, becomes conceivable when the jiva is thus endowed with this sense of his substantial oneness with the divine, who cannot otherwise be thought of except as the other. And so it is said that between such Vijnanis means the Vedantins and the Nitya Siddhas, in whom jnana, or wisdom or knowledge or unitary understanding becomes a foil for the practice of bhakti, and the Bhagavatottamas of the Bhagavata, there seems to be no difference. And we were citing the example of Lord Shuka, the son of Vyasa. And he declares that though he is established in Nirguna, the transcendental absolute, he has been drawn to the path of bhakti by the attractiveness of the Lord and his divine sportive activities. So today morning, Amma was talking about this a little bit. And Amma was saying that, Lord Vyasa wrote all the Vedas, the Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, and all these things. And finally, he was not satisfied. And he was, when he was sitting there, then Sage Narada came and asked, what is your problem? So he says, I have written all these things, but I still don't feel content. And so that's when Sage Narada tells him to write Bhagavatam, which is the bhakti form of the musings and the leelas of the Lord. So that's Shuka, who is also a great realized soul. Just like Vyasa, who is Vyasa's son only, and when he was born itself, he was realized, but he did not realize his realization. So he had to go and learn from King Janaka that he became that he was already realized, and then and in spite of that, he is saying that even though he has realized, he has become established in Nirguna, the transcendental absolute, still he's been drawn by the path of bhakti. And one of the great founders of Advaita, Madhusudana Saraswati, he also says the absolute truth is non-duality. Duality is for the practice of bhakti, devotion. Though it is so, bhakti, if attained, is 100 times greater than mukti. So it's 100 times greater than enlightenment. And the perception of duality before enlightenment is the cause of delusion, but the duality that is assumed after enlightenment for the sake of bhakti is far more delectable than non-duality. You can just imagine. He's saying that the duality can be that is assumed after enlightenment, and it is gone. But what happens after enlightenment is then you assume a duality, because you need to have duality to have that kind of a bhakti or devotion. And for that is much more, he's saying that much more higher than non-duality. And thus it would seem that the actual experience of the higher moods of bhakti can blossom only after the dawn of unitary consciousness or as a result of divine choice. So as I was explaining last time, some people imitate that. But it's very hard to imitate Amma. Just try to, some people go like raising their hands and making sounds and all these things. But you see Amma. Amma, it just does it very spontaneously. And nobody can imitate what Amma does. And when she calls out, like sometimes Amma, Mama, 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 or, Krishna, Krishna, and then she just calls out, we can see that. There is no way you can imitate it. And the people who imitate it, you can also see very clearly that they are, actually contorting those actions, and it looks so ugly. And it's not as sweet as what Amma does. So that's what the explanation would be. in one sense. When you say, the devotion after realization, assuming that the priti after realization is much more beautiful than what we can say, than even liberation. So this unique form of devotion denoted by the expression priti cannot be had by a jiva in his natural state. By practice, he can have shanta bhakti tinged with the relationship of servitude or dasya. And it is only in one whom God chooses the sentiments based on priti can arise. And Krishna says the Chaitanya school of Vaishnavism is Satchidananda, and he has got 3 shaktis or potencies of manifestation. So the one of the things, the Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, that is what is here again. So the first one is called Swarupa Shakti, and this is Jiva or Tadashta Shakti, and Maya Shakti. And the last is his power of manifesting as insentient matter, and the second is limited centers of sentiency of jivas. And the first one, namely Swarupa Shakti, is his innate and most essential nature. And Swarupa Shakti is again divided into Sandini, Samvit, Hladini. And by Sandini, corresponding to Sat, Chit, Ananda, so the Sat, that is existence, and Samvit is corresponding to Chit or consciousness, and the last Hladini is Ananda or bliss. So he's as the enjoyer of his own rasa, the one that he has own created, he not only enjoys his own innate bliss, but also that bliss is reflected in the jivas. And also, see, he says on the jivas whom he chooses this Hladini Shakti, that is Ananda, the potency of his bliss nature is cast, and the same is reflected from the jiva as devotion of the highest order, which is priti. So you can see it is the same, the Shakti, the power, which is also being created so that it is reflected, that Ananda is being reflected. And as a result of this bestowal of grace, the jiva, as it were nourished and enriched with motiveless devotion, is an expression of the Lord's Hladini, that is the Ananda Shakti. So what happens is, he's saying, see, the further development of the Bhagavata conception of Priti at the hands of theoreticians of the Chaitanya school of Vaishnavism, though Bhagavata definitely speaks of Bhakti as the highest gift of God, bestowed on aspirants even more rarely than Mukti itself. It will not be correct to say that the concept of Hladini Shakti, that is Ananda, and its part of the genesis of Bhakti are to be found in it without any clarity. So he's saying that it's to elaborate. Bhakti is the fifth Purushartha, which is superior to Mukti and can be sustained. And with the power of understanding that the jiva is endowed with, purified and augmented by devotional disciplines, he can develop the attitude of self-surrender and feel that I am thine, and be lost in the sense of divine majesty. This is Shanta Bhava, tinged with a sense of servitude, that is Dasya. And the goal of Shanta Bhava is Sayujya, becoming merging with the divine. But in Priti Bhakti, based on the sense of mindness, it manifests only when graced by this Ananda. And to entertain such an intimate closeness to the Bhagavan, who creates, sustains and dissolves the universe, who is endowed with countless majesties, as to feel that he is one's own child or friend or sweetheart, and the experience of a sense of mindness does not seem to be natural to be to a limited being like the jiva. So this is what I've been trying to explain earlier. It's not natural to a ordinary soul. And that's why they cannot understand our relationship with Amma. And all of them ask, when you run after, why are you running after Amma? We know why we are running, but you cannot explain it to them and say there is that power of love. And what is behind it, really behind it? So in one sense, he's saying that it has to be chosen, to be given. And so just understand we are all very fortunate and we are all blessed to have that kind of a closeness with Amma, to feel that she is mine and to have that kind of a love for Amma. And a totally new consciousness of closeness to the divine, consistent with the awareness of his or her unique majesty, has to be born in the human spirit. And this is called poshana, or enrichment by the divine nutrient, which consists of all the three things which I said, Chit, Sat, Chit, Ananda. And so the Lord says, what happens is, in such a case, in the case of such a bhakta or a devotee, when they have that highest attitude of the devotion, the Lord says, I am a subordinate to my devotee. And therefore, in a sense, without freedom. Being extremely fond of devotees, of exalted mind, my heart is under their control. So you remember, there are several stories, including, the stories of different saints and sages. And one of them we had learned earlier, and in which he was being ridiculed, and then and he was getting angry. He was cursed by the sage, and then this sage, what happened? The sage is running because of when the curse goes, our king, he goes to Lord Vishnu, and when Lord Vishnu's disgust follows the sage, and as a result of which he has to come and completely surrender at the feet of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu says, look, it's not under my control, it is his control. And you have to have that kind of you have to ask him for forgiveness. And I don't have any control. So finally, the sage, falls on the feet of the king, and then the Lord's discuss, the chakram, just goes back. So it says that there are innumerable events in the life of Sri Krishna as depicted in the Bhagavata to illustrate this. And he says that such jivas, that is, such individuals, become nitya siddhas, even retaining their individuality and engaged in the bliss of others. And now we are talking about the para aikya bhava, that is where the aikyam means oneness, the highest of oneness. So he says, while all forms of love, where there is a sense of mindness with regard to God, like those of a servant to a master, of a child to a parent, of a parent to a child, of a friend to a friend, and considered as forms of priti, the most unique expression of devotion of this type consists in kanti bhava, that is the wifely relationship. And especially they say about the paraikya bhava, means relationship of illicit love, as manifested in the wives of Sri Krishna at Dwaraka and the Gopikas in Vrindavana respectively. So here we have to, I have to just give a definition of illicit love. I mean, you have to understand that it is not that they are doing it without the knowledge of their husbands or wives. So it is that type of a love, but at the same time, he's saying that that kind of relationship was like that, but at the same time, the love they had for Lord Krishna was considered to be far superior than any of those types of love in the lower nature. Why? As we said earlier, it is. See, they are saying it's like like a girl. It's like a girl who goes away with her lover, staking everything, her past and her future, in the full trust of and absorption in her object of love. The devotee abandons himself unreservedly to God in utmost confidence and without any calculation or expectation of return. And it is considered superior even to the wifely attitude, because a wife's dedication does not involve that total revolution, abandonment, and non-expectation characterizing the love for a paramour. So you hear, that's why they have to differentiate this. So because there is no expectation. Whereas in a wifely or a husband relationship, there is always expectation. But in this one is completely dedicating to the Lord without any reason, just because of only one thing, that is love. And their dedication is 100%. And so that's why it is for this reason that Bhagavata places the Gopikas of Vrindavana above the wedded wives of Sri Krishna, and in the scale of the devotees endowed with Preeti. So even the wives of Lord Krishna did not have that much of devotion like the Gopis, the Gopikas. So that's why the difference is between them is that Gopikas did not expect anything out of Lord Krishna. And they just completely gave themselves up. And they did not care about, what they are going to get back, whether Lord Krishna is going to love them back or Krishna is going to smile at them. Whereas, as a wife, a wife would or a husband would expect some kind of amount of love from their partner. But this is, that's why they are saying they are all renouncing Paramahamsas. Paramahamsas means the highest, of the saints. So, this the Chaitanya school of Vaishnavism have analyzed the development of this unique form of Preeti, which is called Madhura Bhava, which is known as the relationship of sweetness, and in 8 progressive stages. The first one is Prema. This is characterized by attachment and never wanes under any condition. And the second one is Sneha. It is a stage when the heart melts in love. And the third one is Mana. It is augmentation of love through assumed or real obstructions. And then fourth one is Pranaya. It is unreserved confidence, friendship, and camaraderie. And fifth one is Raga. It is a state in which the pangs of separation augment love and joy of expectation. And the sixth one is Anuraga. It is characterized by experience of unceasing novelty in love. And the seventh and the eighth, Bhava and Mahabhava. These are the states of absorption in Krishna consciousness, or the consciousness of the Lord, characterized by some 24 physical and mental modes of expression. And the latter, that is Mahabhava, is manifest only in divine incarnations and not in ordinary jivas, struggling for the attainment of little God love. So, these 6 forms, you can see, that is, first one is Prema, that is attachment, which never wanes under the condition. Sneha, that is when the heart melts in love. And then the third one, Mana, is an augmentation of love through assumed or real obstructions. So you can see in the life of the Swamis, many of the Swamis, what happened was once they met Amma, there were a lot of obstruction. But those obstructions actually enhanced the love for Amma only. It did not stop them. And then the fourth one is pranaya, which is unreserved confidence, friendship. And then the raga, fifth one, is the state in which the pangs of separation augment love. And then the sixth one is anuraga, which is characterized by experience of unceasing novelty in love. So that is the beauty about this. When you see ordinary human relationship, after some time, as Amma says, in the beginning you say, oh, how beautiful you are, and I cannot but live without you. But after some time, you say, how ugly you are, I cannot but live with you. So there, in this one, there is that unceasing novelty in love. And every day, every moment is so beautiful. And as I said, bhava and mahabhava, the mahabhava can be attained only by the divine incarnations. So it is said that the Gopika's love for Krishna is not a mere historical fact, but the expression in history of a transcendental fact, and as such the unethical implication of illicit love cannot be imputed to it. So the idea that Sri Krishna is the absolute person, the eternal truth, the transcendental realm of Goloka, and all manifested beings are expressions of his Shakti. So all the beings were expressed through his power only. And so he's not a mere phenomenal expression of the absolute, of the Advaitins, or the Kebala Advaitins, but is himself the absolute. And what the Advaitins call impersonal Brahman is only the peripheral brilliance of his being. And the Gopikas are eternally present with him in Goloka, or as his associates and attendants. And they are the embodiment of the Ahladini Shakti, that is the bliss Shakti, Ananda, and are such free from all touch of gross matter, and therefore they have no physical body or physical passions associated with it. So their forms are non-material, which is Shuddha Sattva. So what happens is the forms of Gopikas also are absolutely pure, and is just formed of non-material. So their love is also for the Lord is not physical, but it is completely, you can say divine. And though they are described many as all the expressions or enunciations of the principal Gopika, Radha, who herself is the expression of the bliss, conceived as the serving counterpart of Krishna. So it is this one Shakti that has manifested that as countless Gopikas. So here, that is what it is, the Advaita comes. So it is the same power. You have to understand, it is the same power, Lord Krishna, who is also manifesting as gopis. And he's saying that this transcendental and eternal divine sport is what is described in the 10th skanda of Bhagavata, dealing with Gokula and Vrindavana episodes of Lord's life. It is to be taken neither as only historical nor as merely symbolical. It is the transcendental truth, revealed in history, no doubt, but not deriving its truth or validity from historicity. So history cannot validate this, nor can you deny that. So the transcendental is the sanction of history, but not history the sanction of the former. So he's saying that for Krishna's dalliance with the Gopikas, the emanations of the Hladini Shakti, that is the Ananda Shakti, has no element of physical love in it. It is the expression of the self-delight of the pure spirit in his own blissful self. And when the Lord manifested in Vrindavana as the Purna Avatara, that is a perfect incarnation, he revealed this eternal dance with all his eternal associates, which is known as Parikaras. And the soul of being a Shakti of the Lord, therefore considered as feminine, can derive spiritual inspiration through identification with the wholehearted longing of the Gopikas for Lord Krishna. That is, we can say that the greatness of Lord Krishna, of calling him the Purna Avatara, means the full manifestation of the redeeming power in him. And besides this idea of a transcendental identity for Gopikas, who would also make the doctrine of divine grace, for the Gopikas would then become holy divinities of nature. So says, there's a, we can say that whatever the theological notions of Vaishnavism might be, the Bhagavata text maintains that they belong to a promiscuous society and they were at start attracted by Lord Krishna's physical forms. And it was Krishna's association that raised them to the summit of purity and holiness. So it is not, in one sense it is saying that, they began at a lower level, but the association with Lord Krishna raised them to such a height. So without that association, they would not have been gopis, as we say. So says Uddhava. Uddhava, is a great disciple and devotee and follower of Lord Krishna. In utter astonishment on seeing the unexpected devotion and the exaltation of the Gopikas, he says how low these women, belonging as they do to a nomadic forest tribe, given to adulterous relationship. And how exalted is this deep-rooted devotion to Krishna, the Supreme Being found in them. And as a potent medicine swallowed, with or without the knowledge of its efficacy, invariably cures a patient, so as the Lord brings about the spiritual regeneration of a person whose mind settles well on him, however ignorant he may be. So that's what, when we go, we have heard several stories of people, right? And I was telling you the story of one of the, one devotee who used to come, it was much earlier, way in the, 35 years ago. And we used to call him MLA, means mouth-looking agent. And one of the reasons why he came was to look at all the women there and enjoy the beauty. That was the reason why he came there. And we were having this sort of a conversation where he and Amma would meet together. And so Amma would ask him, "My son, why are you worried?" So he would say, that I'm worried for a particular reason. So Amma says, "What is the reason?" So he says, "You are the reason. In front of you, I cannot do anything. And my mind is so absorbed in you. So I don't see any other physical charm or beauty around me other than you." So it's like that. So the association they are saying with the Lord changed the mind of the gopis. So it is evident that the main stress of Bhagavata is on the transforming power of love. And holiness manifest in Krishna, the Purna Avatara. And the Chaitanya school of Vaishnavism, the attitude of the Gopikas towards Krishna should not be directly practiced by any aspirant. So he says that don't try to practice it. What then, if you try to practice it, if you try to make it up, and you pretend to be Gopi or somebody to be Krishna, then it's really dangerous. Why? Because it cannot be impersonated. And because Lord Krishna has to be there, or Amma has to be there. And when Amma is there, then Amma transforms that love from an ordinary to an extraordinary being. And so that's why it's called Raga Anuga Bhakti, a devotion consisting in the imitation of love manifested in the Vrindavana. And so it can ultimately lead to the deep and abiding love for Krishna. And so this is also known as Pushti Marga, or the path of divine nourishment. And so what now, till now we have discussed is the experience of devotion, that is bhakti. And so whether it is the Shanta Bhakti or Priti Bhakti, the mind will naturally and irresistibly flow towards God, just like the Ganges to the ocean. And it is the final fruit of devotional discipline, and therefore is called Parabhakti or Sadhya Bhakti, the highest of bhakti. And is the end product of long evolution of the jiva extending over several lives, and the result of this sedulous practice of preliminary devotional disciplines generally described by the terms of sadhana bhakti, that is disciplinary devotion, and Vaidhi Bhakti, that is devotional practices according to scriptural injunctions. So, as I was talking about earlier, when the gopis were none other than the great yogis who were sitting and meditating, and when Lord Rama came, and manifested in the physical form, they were so enchanted that they had this intense desire to be born with the Lord again. And that's, it is said that gopis are the manifestation of those yogis. So he's saying that all these disciplinary bhaktis and the devotional practices according to the scriptural injections, only by doing that will give the parabhakti, that is the highest form of bhakti. And according to Bhagavata, all genuine spiritual disciplines are part of bhakti yoga, because the Lord has declared that He can be grasped only through bhakti. And that morality, pursuit of truth, charity, etc., though good in themselves, cannot purify the soul if devoid of bhakti. And that the gold of the human spirit shines, rid of all its dross, only when put in fire of bhakti. So just like when the gold is really melted, then it becomes pure. So it's like that you have to be melted in bhakti to become so pure. But it still recognizes the distinctness of three yogas, jnana, karma, and bhakti. And so sometimes it speaks of yogas being only two, jnana and bhakti, that of karma, and to sannyasins of a very high standard of renunciation. Jnana yoga is prescribed to those who are moved by desires. Karma yoga is applicable to those who are, through listening by chance to the recitals of the excellence of the Lord, feel strongly drawn to Him, but are only partially fit for renunciation. But bhakti yoga is recommended. By this, the Bhagavata is not downgrading bhakti, which is considered to be the highest purushartha, but for it is stated that the pure intellectual effort to attain to an abstract truth without elevating the influence of faith and devotion is like milling chaff, resulting in vain labor and exhaustion alone. And true jnana yoga is only bhakti with a higher degree of intellectual and less of sentimental element in it, a form of intellectual love for God. and the absorption in him. So as I was saying, the examples of Ramana Maharshi and the many other saints. So even though they were jnanis in their highest form, they also were highest bhaktas. And I was also explaining last time about Ramatirtha, who came just after Swami Vivekananda to the United States, and he was a Pakka Vedantin, and he used to speak about Vedanta all the time. And as I was saying, he was saying that a true Vedantin is one who talks about Vedanta the whole day, and at night he goes back, he sits alone and he cries for the Lord. And he himself, he said that, he was such a great bhakta that in the morning they used to see that his whole pillow was covered with tears. It was completely wet. So he was practicing that. He was not just saying that. So he's saying that jnani has the beauty about this. A great jnani is having the intellectual love of God. So, which is a form of intellectual love. And the jnani looks upon the Lord as his own higher self and seeks communion with him through the eye sense. And the spirit of detachment and renunciation required for this discipline must be of very high order, even at the very start. But as pointed out above, the discipline of bhakti can be started even by one of less endowment in this respect. And that's why Amma says that bhakti yoga is fit for anybody. When you are starting itself, you can practice bhakti yoga, and the results also is immediate, because you feel that love, you feel that longing. So all these things can naturally come in the beginning itself, whereas jnana yoga could be very intellectual, it could be dry at times, and many a times you might feel that you are not progressing or not reaching anywhere also. So whereas bhakti, that rasa, the enjoyment starts right in the beginning itself. Also, they say a jnana aspirant has to rely on his own strength, and the bhakta has always got the backing of God or Bhagavan, whom he approaches in a personal relationship. So Lord Krishna says, a genuine devotee of mine, who even if he happens to be temporarily subjugated by sense objects, is never lost. He is backed by the power of his devotion to me. So you remember what Amma said about all the young kids who came here much longer, and they go out into the world, and then they get lost. But because of their love for Amma, they will always come back to Amma. That's what he's saying. Lord Krishna says, they may temporarily be subjugated by the sense objects, but is never lost. And according to the Bhagavata, devotional discipline which generates both dispassion for the worldly objects and knowledge of God is a natural and simultaneous process of spiritual evolution despite initial deficiencies. And it is thus compared to a ball of rice eaten, producing simultaneously satisfaction of hunger, strength of the body, and the pleasure of eating. And as far as Raja and Yoga and Karma Yoga are concerned, they only subserve the purpose of the discipline of Bhakti Yoga. Raja Yoga consists in the systematic practice of inward concentration, which is immensely helpful in deepening the devotional sentiments, and thereby in the continued fixation of the mind on God. Regarding karma, the Bhagavata holds it to be an important aid to bhakti discipline in the early stages. So that's that's what I was saying much earlier. Whenever you go to an ashram of a realized master, the first thing the master asks you is not to learn Vedanta or teach you with the knowledge. first thing what happens is seva, right? So what happens is seva, that is karma yoga, is the important aid to bhakti discipline, because karma yoga is consists of discharge of various duties, and so these kind of karmas can also be called as dharma. And so what happens is if they are not motivated with that particular aspect, it is vain and meaningless. So if you think that if you do actions with the rich rewards of heavenly enjoyments, this or like the ritualistic part of Veda, it's a mere theology and incorrect means to attract sense-bound and childish men to life, just as the children are persuaded to take medicines by promise of sweets and savories. So the ultimate purpose is to teach man to do Vedic karmas and his worldly duties with a sense of detachment and in dedication to the God. And when so performed, karma, otherwise technically known as dharma, becomes karma yoga or communion through dedicated action, and it becomes an integral part of devotional discipline. So all these things, as we see, the different aspects, the different yogas, is only to induce the highest form of bhakti. And without which, if we practice all these things, they're saying that, look, it is, as we're saying, it is just for getting some kind of, as Amma says, like if you give a child some gold coins and chocolate, the child is always going to take the chocolates. And it's going to reject the gold coins. And similarly, when we are aiming for a goal, including liberation, including mukti, that is, including liberation, it's still considered to be much lower than the highest form of bhakti, which is parabhakti, or as we say, the priti, in which you do not expect anything in return. Not even, as I said earlier, not even liberation. But Amma says that for such a devotee, the liberation follows them like a dog. And the liberation is going to come and ask, do you want liberation right now? The devotee will say, no, I don't want you. Go away. So that kind of love is for the Lord, as I say, is what is the Bhagavata, describe the love of the gopis and Lord Krishna in Bhagavata, and through which we can also assimilate some of that examples in our lives and act accordingly. Because Amma says that different type of people come to Amma for different reasons. And many, they slowly start with the aspect like, I want healing for my disease, or I want a cow, I want to better my business, and all these things. But slowly and slowly, as you see, they will rise up. And they will rise up in that love for Amma. And ultimately, they will not ask for anything, including liberation. So, I was saying the example of Swamiji, when during his 50th birthday, when Amma asked him, what do you want? And he just wanted to see Amma's Devi Bhava. And many people made fun of him, saying that, oh, you should have asked for liberation, Amma would have given you. Well, you don't want liberation. Because he said, then Amma, I wouldn't have the distinction between Amma and me. I want to enjoy that distinction and the duality of non-duality, in non-duality. So ultimately, it is to understand that it is as we can see later on, as they said, it is the manifesting power of Lord Krishna or Amma is what is reflected in each and every one of us. So that's why Amma calls us as her children. She has created us. And we are not different from her because we are her power. We are her children. And there is no separation in reality, even though we may feel that there is. But as far as Amma is concerned, she considers us as part of her. And that's why when we go up to her, she accepts us as who we are. And she does not look at all the bad things, right? She could have told us that if you want to come for darshan, then you have to chant 1,000 Sahasranamas or meditate for 100 days. But she doesn't ask for anything. Also, most of the children also, that's why Amma says, the older devotees also, Amma always says that. When they come to Amma, they don't ask for anything. Amma says they only tell Amma about some ashram problems or problems relating to the organization. They don't even say a single word about themselves. Why? They don't want anything from Amma personally. And their love for Amma is so pure and not tainted with all the material objects and the physicality. It's just pure love. And so you can see that how Amma, and as you know that many of them started by going to Amma just for seeking something or the other, and how Amma has made them rise above all these things to the highest goal where you don't even ask for anything. So that's the beauty of the relationship with Amma. So may Amma give us that highest form of love in which we only seek nothing but love and just keep loving her eternally. Om Amriteshwari Namah. Ambe Ma, Jagadambe Ma, Ambe Ma, Jagadambe Ma,
Ambe Ma, Jagadambe Ma.
जगदम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां,
अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां, अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां,
अमृतमयी आनन्दमयी, अमृतानन्दमयी
अमृतमयी आनन्दमयी, अमृतानन्दमयी
अमृतमयी आनन्दमयी, अमृतानन्दमयी
अमृतमयी आनन्दमयी, अमृतानन्दमयी
शान्तिमयी सुहासमयी, अमृतानन्दमयी
शान्तिमयी सुहासमयी, अमृतानन्दमयी
अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां, अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां,
अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां, अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां
मैं हूँ अनाथ तू ही माता,
मैं हूँ अनाथ तू ही माता,
माया दीदा सद्गुरु माता,
मायातीता सद्गुरु माता,
वेद पुराण तू ही गीता,
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 अमृतमयी अम्बे मां, अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां,
अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां,
अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां,
अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां,
अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां,
अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां,
अमृतमयी आनन्दमयी, अमृतानन्दमयी
अमृतमयी आनन्दमयी, अमृतानन्दमयी
अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां, अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां,
अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां, अम्बे मां, जगदम्बे मां
वाणी वीणा पाणि ब्रह्माणि,
वाणी वीणा पाणि ब्रह्माणि,
लक्ष्मी नारायणी कल्याणी,
लक्ष्मी नारायणि मा कल्याणि,
त्रिशूलवाणी अम्बा भवानी,
त्रिशूलवाणी
मा जगदम्बे मा
अम्बे मा जगदम्बे मा
अम्बे मा जगदम्बे मा
अम्बे मा जगदम्बे मा
अमृतमयी आनंदमयी शांतिमयी सुहासमयी अमृतानंदमयी
शांतिमयी सुहासमयी अमृतानंदमयी
अम्बे मां जगदम्बे जगदम्बे मां
अम्बे मां जगदम्बे मां अम्बे मां जगदम्बे मां
जगदम्बे मां
अम्बे मां जगदम्बे मां
गजमुख गजमुख गणनाथ
गजमुख गजमुख गणनाथ
गजमुख गजमुख गणनाथ
गजमुख गजमुख गणनाथ
गौरी नंदन गणनाथ Gananatha
Pashupati Nandana Gananatha
Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Gajamuga Gananatha
Gajamuga Gajamuga Gananatha
Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Pashangushadhara Gananatha
Pashangushadhara Gananatha
Pashangushadhara Gananatha
Pashangushadhara Gananatha
Gananatha he Gananatha
Gananatha he Gananatha
Gananatha he Gananatha
Gananatha he Gananatha
Pashupati Nandana Gananatha
Pashupati Nandana Gananatha
Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Gajamuga
Gananatha Gauri Nandana Gananatha
Gopi Gopala Venu Gopala Mukunda Madhava Gopi Gopala
Gopi Gopala Venu Gopala Mukunda Madhava Gopi Gopala
Gopi Gopala Venu Gopala Mukunda Madhava Gopi Gopala
Gopi Gopala मुकुन्द माधव गोपी गोपाला
कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे
कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे
जय कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे
कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे
जय हरि बोल जय राम बोल
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 हरि हरि बोल गोविंद 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 बोल
हरि और शंकर सब है तेरा नाम
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 कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे 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 हरे
कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे
सब सुख ले लो सब दुख ले लो
सब सुख ले लो सब दुख ले लो
जय हरि बोल जय राम बोल
जय हरि बोल जय राम बोल
हरि हरि बोल गोविंद बोल
हरि हरि बोल गोविंद बोल
हरि और शंकर सब है तेरा नाम
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 गोपी गोपाला वेणु गोपाला गोविंद माधव गोपी गोपाला
गोपी गोपाला वेणु गोपाला मुकुंद माधव गोपी गोपाला
कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे
कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna 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 Hare
Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare Jaya Krishna Hare
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya,
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah शिवाय नमः
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, 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 Namah Shivaya Namo.
Om Namah Shivaya,
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Namo. प्रणवतां मुक्तिप्रदे मङ्गलम् भुवनेश्वरी मङ्गलम् सुहृदिना एकाश्रये मङ्गलम् अमृतेश्वरी मङ्गलम् प्रणमतां मुक्तिप्रदे मङ्गलम् भुवनेश्वरी मङ्गलम् सुहृदिना एकाश्रये मङ्गलम्
हृदयेश्वरी मङ्गलम् हृदिलसत्तेजोमयी मङ्गलम् मृदुभाषिणी मङ्गलम् विजयता प्रेमाग्रहे मङ्गलम् विजयता प्रेमाग्रहे मङ्गलम् विजयता प्रेमाग्रहे मङ्गलम्
गुरुमाता अमृतानंदमयी देवी की
सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्माम् अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो